Hi, welcome to SBR Sports Picks. I'm Peter Loshak. Today is Thursday, December 1st. It's week 14 in college football. We're talking with Steve from collegefootballwinning.com. A smaller slate of college football games this week, but most of them very interesting. And we're going to talk about Baylor and West Virginia right now. A pretty curious game here, Steve. Obviously, Baylor's 2-9 against the spread overall in the year. They've been a horrible bet or a very profitable fade, depending on how you look at it. West Virginia hasn't been great overall ATS either, but they have covered 2 out of their last 3, and it's a big line. West Virginia minus 17. Steve from collegefootballwinning.com. What do you make of this game?
Yes, I feel like these are two teams whose frame of mind is very different going into this last regular season game. West Virginia's played football for 125 years. Only 5 times before have they reached 11 wins. They have a realistic chance of getting there this year. West Virginia also has a real shot of finishing the year with their highest final ranking of the Dana Holgorsen era. So things are looking up in Morgantown for West Virginia. Meanwhile, and I needn't remind viewers of most of the drama that's gone on at Baylor, but they're reeling in the aftermath of course, the sexual assault scandal, the firing of their head coach, Art Briles. They have now suffered 5 consecutive straight-up losses, Peter, for the first time in more than 10 years. In November, they lost senior quarterback Seth Russell for the year. They have, for the 2017 class, they have just 1 recruit. After earlier this week, a 3-star defensive back decommitted from Baylor. Also this past week, head coach somewhat temporary interim head coach Jim Grobe announced that he was not interested in coming back as the head coach of Baylor for next season. So, I mean, again, 2 completely different frames of mind. West Virginia, all things looking up. Baylor, this is a low point for Baylor for sure. And that's really what piqued my interest here. So then I looked at the data to sort of support, my initial non-quantitative thoughts. Each team is trending differently, as I said. Overall this year, the scoring differential, so you look at all their games this year, versus Power 5 competition, Baylor is minus 5.8 points per game. West Virginia, overall this year, plus 9.7 points per game. That is, between the two teams, that's a 15.5 point differential favoring West Virginia. Well, that's not that far from the spread. It opened at West Virginia minus 16. As you said, now West Virginia minus 17, so 15.5 points in favor of West Virginia. Not that far from the current spread. Well, in November, meaning the last 4 games that each team has played, the tale has been very different. Baylor has been outscored 25.3 points per game. And West Virginia, still real close to their overall season average, outscoring opponents 8.3 points per game. You look at that point differential for, again, the last 4 games that each team has played, and that favors West Virginia by 33.6 points. So big advantage for West Virginia in terms of recent trends. Big plays. This year, Baylor's defense is 110th in giving up big plays from the line of scrimmage, as defined as 40 yards or more. Well, West Virginia's senior quarterback, Skyler Howard, he ranks 3rd in the nation over the past 2 seasons in passing plays of 40 or more yards. So again, look for West Virginia to be able to exploit that big play defensive weakness of Baylor. For West Virginia, they have 14 senior starters, Peter, on the depth chart for senior day here. This is also a revenge spot for West Virginia after losing to Baylor at their place in Waco, 62-38 last year. West Virginia has running back concerns, but West Virginia's running backs coach said this week, I thought it was very interesting. Here's his exact quote. "I feel comfortable we should have everyone this week for the first time in a while." Everyone this week. That's saying something because by yards per carry versus Power 5 teams, West Virginia is already a top 15 rushing team, even with those injuries. Baylor's rushing defense ranks 61st overall, but they've given up 5.21 yards per carry in November, again, the last 4 games. That is bad enough to have them rank 87th in the nation. So not such a good rushing defense facing a really good rushing offense. Now, this is a big point spread. You said so. So about that big point spread, and I was concerned with that too. Over the past 5 seasons, in Big 12 games, so when Big 12 was facing Big 12 in their conference games, 45 times the home team has been favored by more than 14 points, just like this game. The home team, believe it or not, Peter, has covered that spread 62.22% of the time. And that figure goes up, covering the spread, to 66.67% of the time when that home team is getting at least 75% of the public betting like this is. So it's unusual. At collegefootballwinning.com, our formula in large part is based on behavioral economics. So we often are taking the side that is undervalued, and a lot of that is interpreting the market betting data. This is a case that is a little different, where it looks like we are favoring, it is. We are favoring the majority betting side here. And speaking of the spread, Peter, you said Baylor's been a bad team against the spread this year. Baylor has lost all of their away games against the spread this season, and by an average of 10.1 points per game. So as of right now, Peter, it's possible it could change between now and kickoff, particularly because of injury news. But I like West Virginia minus 17 in this game.
I'm totally sold, Steve. The whole breakdown makes sense. Awesome breakdown, Steve. That's what Steve does. His website is collegefootballwinning.com. Great record long-term in our videos, and, of course, at his website with his top plays. Steve, tell us a little bit about that.
Thanks, Peter. At collegefootballwinning.com, all we do is college football betting analysis all year round, 365 days a year, even in the off-season. We are a company that is based on making college football betting recommendations using sets of algorithms, and we call those algorithmic betting recommendations our formula. Now, this is up to date and current. Our formula's lifetime against the spread average is 59.75%. That is current. For this season, we are 58.82%, so we're within 1% of the historical average. So come to collegefootballwinning.com for this championship week and through bowl season. If you do and you join us, collegefootballwinning.com, put in coupon code SBR10, that's SBR10. You'll get 10% off of any membership that we're currently offering. And we still, I think for this last week, are offering a 100% money-back guarantee from now to the end of the season.
Thanks so much, Steve. Talk to you again very soon.
Research before you bet. Be sure to check out SBR Picks for the best game predictions, breakdowns, and much, much more.